welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host in my normal setting. And across from me in studio with me, Q Magic, you made it.
It's good to be back and good to not be sick.
Yes, indeed. You had a lot of prayers for you, my friend. I know there's a lot of prayer warriors over here in this wonderful audience. Guys, we're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We are also on Rumble. Who's going to be the first app chatter to chat over there at Rumble Chat? Also live on our YouTube channel. Go check us out, YouTube, man. And, of course, Rumble, our home station. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. And we're on all our socials. Okay, so here we go. You remember this lady, you might recall. Letitia James. Shout out to Jamie on that. All right, so look, I looked at a little article. Viewed a little article, the Washington Times. Valerie Richardson, if you want to look it up, on a showdown. Did a good job on a showdown brewing in New York. Oh, my goodness. And it centers on our dear friend, Busy Bee. Busy little bee up there in New York. New York Attorney General Letitia James. Okay. A woman who treats her office, I'd say, like a personal political weapon. That's pretty fair, right? She's now threatening. I mean, you can't make this up. Right when I thought her lawfare arsenal was kind of all spent on Trump, she's now threatening elected school board members for letting parents speak out about biological boys using girls' locker rooms. And the folks she's targeted are fighting back with a federal lawsuit, and that's why we're reporting on it right now. Okay, so Massapequa, you like that? School board, I hope I got it right. Well, their chair, Carrie Walker, and 3 other New Yorkers, we know it's a New York school board. How about that? We go with that? Well, these guys sued. They sued the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, saying her directive violates the First Amendment. See, these guys only like the First Amendment when it's beneficial to them. See, these poor school board members, they didn't know that. They didn't know that that's what was the standard in New York. James told school boards they can remove speakers or be removed themselves if comments, quote, demean or stigmatize LGBTQ plus students. Now, I just got to pause. No one was marginalizing or demeaning or anybody in any community, LGBTQ plus or whatever. These parents were rightfully objecting to a boy in their girls' locker room. And where were these rules when we were in junior high? I'm just kidding. I'm going to get in so much trouble for that. My coach would have been, boy, get yourself on the track. Where were they weren't letting us anywhere near the girls' locker room. So the directive from Attorney General Letitia James includes objections to biological males in girls' restrooms. That's what I just said. Yeah, locker rooms, sports teams, all the above. You know the normal crazy we got to fight. The normal silly that we have to address. It is so absurd. I know. But look, hey, if we don't talk about these things, especially national issues on these types of platforms, and we're missing it. You can't let these guys that are, I don't know, everybody has their own platform. I just appreciate the rawness of talk radio and podcasts and things like that. You know, it only works if you're honest. It only works if you can't hide. That's why I love it. It's like reality TV without the drama. Maybe some drama. I don't know. But anyway, Letitia James, she's a lawyer. She cites the Dignity for All Students Act and human rights law as her authority. Okay, apparently New York has books on the crimes on the books probably similar to Louisiana, that you can't have these hate crimes. Letitia, listen. I get it. I get it. Political warfare, lawfare is your thing, and you're a Democrat, and I get it. I get it. No one's saying anything about demeaning. This is not even about the LGBTQ plus community. Jeez. It's about, like I said, a young man in the girls' locker room. Man, I don't care if you're gay, straight, bi, I don't care what you do. I'm pretty confident most of us understand that boys shouldn't be in the girls' locker room. And parents that show up to a school board meeting to voice their commonsensical demands should not be silenced, should not be punished. And this threat to school board members to remove these elected folks, we're going to talk a little bit more about that here shortly, but that is absolutely absurd. So the board allowed those comments anyway and could face removal for doing so, apparently. Now, the Southeastern Legal Foundation says the threat is real and that James has previously targeted officials elsewhere for similar disputes. Well, she's just on a little tear. Listen, in New York, you can have free speech as long as it's the right one, as long as it's on the left-wing talking points. Then we're good. Like I said, listen, these guys on the left, they're not, they're very tolerant. They're very they tolerable. They will all the things, unless you disagree with them. I mean, it's just a small caveat. As long as you're going along with the kooky stuff on the left, I mean, come on, man. We know that. But Letitia James knows what she's doing. Letitia James, she knows what she's doing, and she's using her office like most Democrats and Republicans seem to, or maybe most Democrats and rhinos for sure, seem to use their office. So anyway, look, we're going to take a tiny little break. Throw you off there. Take a tiny little break. When we get back, I'm going to continue this topic, and later in the hour, we will open up the phone lines. I can't wait. Let me see you over there at the Rumble chat. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios. Also catch us on rumble.com and YouTube. Hello, Cerebral. Happy to have you there on the Rumble chat. You win. You win. You win. Go check us out, that Rumble chat. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. Let's go back to your buddy over there, Letitia James, Attorney General of New York. Well, she is basically telling, all right, so long story short, another instance where a male goes into a female's locker room. The Attorney General of New York says that if you say anything about that, parents, you should be suppressed. You can't even talk at the school board meeting. You should be removed. And she goes a step further. And she says, hey, you guys and gals that were actually elected by the folks in the community, I'm going to remove you. You're going to be removed, school board member. Elected school board member by the parents and community. If you don't do something about this, and if you say, meaning, if you let these parents speak, you're removed. Like, you have to accept all of it, all or nothing. So there's a lawsuit. One of the school board members sued, the parents sued, a couple people sued Letitia James, probably others, and said a violation of their First Amendment right, and actually fundamental right on a lot of things. You could argue fundamental right to rear your child. That's also a case in 2000, not to get too nerdy on everybody, but these fundamental rights mean something. We haven't had this discussion in a while. So fundamental right is a special kind of right, meaning the government cannot infringe on that right. The government can, but only if it passes strict scrutiny. So the law must be narrowly tailored to serve a compelling interest. So a really, really, really important interest, and there can't be any less restrictive ways to achieve that interest. That's the only way that a law that infringes on your fundamental right can be constitutional under our current jurisprudence. You now, my dear audience, you now know more than most attorneys just by having that knowledge. There's some truth to that. Some of my attorneys are like, all right, nerd, get out of here. Letitia James, my dear friends, speaking of attorneys, she's not confused. This is not an accident. This is not an accident at all. You see what I'm saying? Her beliefs in doing the right things are just corroded, okay? And I'll tell you, if I had some corrosion, you know who I'd call? C-Safe. My friends over there. But anyway, her values on her analysis on the law and doing the right thing here are they're just not meeting. And that's the best way I can say it, the kindest way I can say it. She's not confused. This is by design. She knows exactly what she's doing. This is the same attorney general who weaponized her office against President Trump for how long? Who ran on it? The same attorney general who treats politics as a sport and the law as her scoreboard. And now she's moved on to parents. Why not? And she should feel emboldened. She's gotten away with pretty much everything. And then whether there was a case against her or not, we will never know because the sloppiness of the Attorney General's office, and I'm saying that with kindness and respect, on the appointment process. That's the only reason why it was thrown out with a technicality. But regardless, feels a little emboldened, I would imagine. But now she's moved on to parents. Every day, Joe and Jan Public, moms, dads, who are worried about their daughters being forced to share locker rooms with boys. And they're the bad guys? They're the ones that we're punishing? Not us. You, Letitia James? She's not protecting anyone. She is punishing dissent. And she's punishing the dissent that is believed by most Americans, even Democrats. Most Democrats don't want boys in the girls' locker room. That is not a majority of the Americans' beliefs. But that party is being hijacked by crazy. I mean, look, every family's got it. But we usually don't let the crazy people lead. We just kind of like, they're over there, you know what I mean? Like, they're part of the family. We had to send him the reunion. He's got the shirt. They're doing the line dance. He brought a casserole. He's in the family. But this is state power being used to suffocate community authority. Just like a Democrat, just like a rhino, and I can't say, just like historical leaders who have been Democrats. Because I'm telling you, your average day folks are not bad. At all. I'm telling you, your everyday Democrat does not believe in the nonsense that their party is pushing. That's why they're kind of on shaky ground, but we keep, we'll find ways to give the Democrats some victories here. Louisiana will give them seats. Let's see here. We will screw up Obamacare, I guess, enough to I mean, we've had 2 years, just a little time, or a year, I'm sorry. We've had a year, just a little time. But maybe not. Hope is still out there for Obamacare little fix. I think we're beyond repealing and replacing. We don't have to be. I say give capitalism a chance. Tear down the wall. Yeah, tear down that wall. Tear down all those 50 walls that we have on health insurance. But that's a tangent for another day. But what Letitia James is doing to these parents and these school board members who have a legitimate concern about a boy in a girl's locker room, even today, gosh, they suffocate. That's what they want. Parents finally get a chance to speak at a board meeting courageously, by the way, in that environment, respectfully, and with legitimate concerns about their girls' safety. And Letitia James steps in and says the board should shut the microphones off. Very democratic, very American. Jeez. And not because the parents were violent, because they are raised to shut their mics off. Oh, they're yelling or something. They're not even yelling. Trust me. But like totally disrupting, things like that. No, none of that stuff. It's because she turns off the mics because she doesn't like the viewpoint. Plain and simple. And all in the cloak of civil enforcement? That is not civil enforcement. That is political enforcement. On an ideology that is being grasped on by less than 1% of the people, well, that identifies that. A small majority, there can't be more than 30% of Americans. I mean, I give there's still of Democrats, so that'd probably be 15% of Americans. I don't know, I have no science on this, but I know this. I got a nice Democrat that calls in regularly, and he also says these little boys shouldn't be in little girls' bathrooms. It's like common sense. And these guys, and for Letitia James to target, who's she targeting? Parents, school board members, not the boy. No one needs to be targeted. Just the little boy don't need to be in the little girl's bathroom. I mean, my goodness. How about this? Go use the principal's office if you need. I mean, if we must make an exception, but no. Oh, no. We're going to disrupt everybody's life because this young boy wants this. Who's running the show? Tail wagging the dog over there. If we had just a little bit better, well, I'll just be quiet. Listen, we're gonna move on. Hey, when we get back, we're gonna touch on another little topic, but I'm telling you, you're gonna want to stick around, and I can't wait. Phone lines are open, 232-1542. Let me hear from you. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from rumble.com, youtube.com, and the 96.5 KPEL studios. My favorite time of the whole show, cue magic, and that is the phone lines. Norm from Poche Bridge. What up, Norm?
Well, standing by, bud. Listen, I hear the most outlandish things on various medias. They are so crazy I can't believe them. And, you can say what you want. But I know you got a lot more education than me, but I actually went to graduate school. And when I wrote a paper, I had to prove what I was saying, or at least show my sources.
That's important.
Why can't we apply that? Why can't we apply that in a little bit of common sense or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm just asking. I'm curious.
I'm asking too, Norm. And everybody else listening probably is asking, why the heck do we have to keep talking about this? It's kind of silly, isn't it?
Indeed.
Norm, let me ask you this. Would they put up with that collectively at Poche Bridge?
No, they tell you were crazy.
That's exactly right. Common sense prevails, baby. Thanks, Norm. Appreciate you. Always appreciate it. I'm telling you, Norm packs a big punch. So does this gentleman here. Warren! What's up, Warren?
Well, when the pastor went to the lonely widow's house to visit her, she had a bowl of peanuts. And he ate all her peanuts, and then he apologized for eating her peanuts. And she said, "Oh, it's okay, Pastor. Since I lost my teeth, I just licked the chocolate off of them and put them back in the bowl." So the other day I was talking about pecans. I don't know whose or what nuts y'all were talking about.
Right, I got it. Yes, and mixed pecans, and it's Christmas season, and you can give that as a gift. Thanks, Warren. You wrapped it all around. See, Warren, you got it, Warren. I knew it. What up, Robert D. Benoit? Shout out. Oh, my Rumble chat, and that's my dear friend over there. Best chief of staff ever. And I mean that. Public servant to the T. All right. Let's talk about something that also may just make you, we're probably going to say the same thing we were just saying. Like, we're talking about this again, but a little different. So check this out. Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman, you been busy? I mean, my goodness. Let's talk. So this report is coming in from the New York Post. It covers a little political firestorm built around Ilhan Omar's own words. Just saying. See, Norm was talking about citing sources and everything. Hey, why not use the person's own words? It seems to be very effective in communicating thought. So here we go. So these are comments from 2024 where she told a room of Twin City constituents, her constituents, that she would use her seat in Congress to protect Somalia's interests from inside the American system. Those comments resurfaced this week. Elon Musk said it, quote, sounds like treason. President Trump went after her directly at a rally in Pennsylvania. There's a couple other things. This is not an isolated report. I'm talking about a New York Post article because it, to me, brings up some different things that you may not see in other outlets. But this is out there if you want to catch up a little bit more on the facts, or at least the reporting. A resurfaced clip. So a few little facts that we do know. A resurfaced clip from January 2024, going on 2 years, shows Representative Omar, a congresswoman, promising Somalia constituents she would block a sea access deal between Somaliland and Ethiopia because it threatened Somalia. The translated remarks say the U.S. government, quote, will do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. And that the government must follow our orders. Like, come on. They should see you head shaking. So Representative Omar says she will ensure Somalia's land, waters, and national interests are protected. Quote, this is her own words. from inside the U.S. system. Elon Musk reposted the clip and said the statements sound like treason. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer said Omar should resign when the comments first came out. He was pretty vocal. President Trump does what he does. He tore into Omar at a Pennsylvania rally saying she constantly, this is true though, she constantly trashes America while pledges loyalty elsewhere. It's true. The crowd chanted, send her back. Okay. Omar responded that Trump is obsessed with her and that his comments are bigoted. Well, of course. Let me see what's in the arsenal. Oh, I don't have any substance. Is there any facts? Anything to help? Oh, boop, racist. Where's the bigotry arrow? Here you go. Boop. I don't have anything to stand on, so what do? I just racist, bigot. How dare you want to put America's interest above Somalia, you big meanie. Orange man, bad. These weren't idle words. There's no misspeaking going on. Ilhan Omar told a room of people that the United States government takes orders from them and that she is in Congress to run interference for them, for Somalia. That is the definition of placing a foreign country's interest above the United States. Argue with me. Tell me I'm wrong. 232-1542. Tell me I'm wrong on that. She's, her own words, putting Somalia's interest over the United States. Period. And the only reason this clip is resurfacing now is because people are finally paying attention to the plain meaning of her own statements. But again, all of her statements were made as she's emboldened. Nothing's ever happened. I mean, she has walked with pure political immunity with her anti-American ways. Anti-American meaning if you're not pro-America, well, you're anti-America. And shouldn't we expect our representatives to be pulling for us? Like, really, I do. Like, I genuinely, like, this is my, maybe I force naivety on myself. I don't care. I choose to do this. I choose to find the good. But most Democrats, I would say, most elected Democrats do understand the team they're on. They do want America to succeed. I believe that. But they don't have the microphone. and they ain't making the policies in the Democrat caucus. So for whatever reason, those very reasonable people let very unreasonable, loud people lead them into areas that they don't even believe in. If you don't believe me, just go look at if not having term limits did anything, it exposed how flip-floppy these people are. Because here's the deal. I'm okay with people changing their mind based on reasonable facts. That would make you reasonable. It would make you unreasonable to have a position, be introduced new facts, and you not have a different thought. That would be unreasonable. That would be very close-minded. What I have a problem with is the political whim of these elected politicians. Just, where's the wind blowing? Oh, boys should never be in a girl's locker room. Joe Biden, 1984. Hey, pal. It's not a real quote, but he has plenty of statements on the record anti-LGBTQ plus. Some of the fiercest. Now, Nancy Pelosi, I'll give her that. She's been consistent on that issue, or at least for gay rights. I don't think, but even Nancy Pelosi, when she first was elected in 1914, like seriously, she would have never imagined saying publicly, I support a little boy going into a little girl's restrooms or high school gyms or whatever. No way. She may have been fighting for equality for gays, but she would have had some lines. Whim, just a whim. Where's it blowing? All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Broadcasting live from rumble.com, also on our YouTube channel, and from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're talking about Ilhan Omar and her desire to put the interest of Somalia, her own words, not mine. I'm just the messenger and the person leading the discussion. That's it. But her own words tell us that she has put the interest of Somalia above the interest of the United States. A country, by the way, that she represents. A country that you would assume would be the entity that is naturally on your mind that you feel the fiduciary duty to perform for, okay? I think 80% of the elected Democrats want the United States to succeed. That's a majority. That's a strong majority. I don't think they're bad people. They're just being led by people that are not, I don't know where they're taking you. And then maybe where they're taking us. We can't assume nothing. We can't even assume Republicans that we even have the midterm. I'm just saying. I am just saying. So, look, this isn't about immigration. This isn't even about culture. Now, we talked about culture in her office yesterday, maybe day before, several times. Several times. But this discussion we're having right now has nothing to do with immigration, about culture. This is, look, point blank, this is about loyalty. This is about loyalty, straight up. The oath of office, it's not a symbolic oath. Like, here's the seal of the House of Representatives. Oh, and here's this oath I took. Like, you really do perform an act. It is an actual public act, what you're doing. You swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, not of Somalia. You do not swear, Elon, Representative Omar, don't want to get the Elons confused, but you do not swear to defend Somalia's maritime boundaries. That's not your oath. You don't swear to protect another nation's leverage in negotiations. We do understand here, right? There was transactions going on involving Somalia, United States, whatever. Pick your poison. Pick whatever it is you're dealing with. There are competing interests, no matter how small and no matter how big. And when there's competing interests, you have to be on a side. We're not Switzerland in World War II. So you pick, and I'll make it easy for you, Representative. Anything other than the United States is not the United States. And you publicly, you didn't even hide, I'll give you that. You're like straight up like, man, I got you. I'm inside the system, and I'm going to personally block within the system whatever that transaction was to favor Somalia, even though it was not in the United States' interest. Nor does she have the authority, by the way. And there's another act that I'm not going to get into where she could have possibly breached that act, acting on behalf of the United States with no authority. You're not in the executive branch at all. Not even close. Man. But Omar told her constituents, like I said, she told her constituents, even in the negotiation, that she would make sure the U.S. never supports Ethiopia if it crosses Somalia's interest. Very contrary to other people's thoughts in other branches. Not all the time, because it's a moving thing. That's why legislative folks stay in your lane, executive folks stay in your lane. Everybody has their lane, except the legislative folks have given the executive branch bureaucracy a whole bunch of stuff. But I digress. But she said it proudly. She said it openly. She said it with full confidence that nobody would call her on it, and she felt emboldened because she had every right to feel emboldened. Every right. You know, America is our look. We're going to purge out all this stuff, and maybe Minnesota keeps electing folks like this. But just the fact that we're talking about it now should give everybody hope. Should give everybody some comfort, you know. And it's going to take shows like this, and it's going to take because we're all microbreweries, kind of, you know. Some of us, you know, our audience is our audience, and that's fine because we're left with this. As Americans, we have been so disserved by media outlets collectively, not all of them. And I'm talking mainly your national mass media type stuff, not necessarily your local affiliates, although, you know, they have their moments. But now we all question what the truth is now. So it takes shows like this where you can't run. And that's why we throw a camera on there too, make it even more raw. Here it is. Good, bad, or ugly. But honest. Hey, let me tell you about some honest folks too, man. When strength matters, when custom matters, I'm talking about C-Safe. When failure's not an option, C-Safe delivers. C-Safe FRP products are engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, and outlast the competition in the harshest environments. C-Safe, from offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between, I'm telling you, these guys can take care of it. Their products are American-made and manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. Check them out, csafe.com. That's S-E-A, just like the ocean. Appreciate you guys. Stick around. We will be right back. Hour number 2, right around the corner. Q, don't go anywhere. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Josh Guillory Show. It's Hump Day, Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Kevin from Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic coming in at the bottom of the hour. I always learn from him. I'm a little biased to him as patient, but good stuff inside and outside the clinic. But very, very cool guy. We talk RFK Jr. quite often, he and I. and as you can imagine, he's got some good thoughts. And I told him, we're going to get you on the show. He wants to come on to talk about RFK Jr. and what from a, maybe a little more in-depth lens. Maybe we'll get him on here. He's pretty kind with his time. All right, so, we're going to stay in Minneapolis. We're going to stay in Minneapolis because we need to. Because if this silliness is happening, it's a different topic, but if this silliness is happening there, it could happen here. And we want to make sure that we are aware as Americans and look, now with social media, you could have conversations with these folks in Minneapolis. I bet you there's a lot of like-minded folks. Well, I know there is. No, there are. So we're talking about topics that, we have the ability to be so unified in this country, and I do think that is a natural. I think that's a natural feeling, a natural reaction, that American spirit. I don't think it's dead. I believe it's not dead. I know it to not be dead. But we are going through a little moment. We're going through a little hot mess for a hot minute. We got a little churn running the show everywhere. Our camp too. But it's a purging. And I love what Trump's doing. Clearly, I come in here all the time and tell you. And then there's some things, I don't agree with everybody on everything. Nobody agrees with me on everything on all the time. That's okay. It's America. But I do know that man knows what team he's on and gets up every day fighting for wins no matter where and no matter how he can get them. And I'm okay with that. I love it. And I do love the policies, like this whole manufacturing thing. I'm going to get to Minneapolis, but this whole manufacturing jobs and things like that, like with these tariffs, no tariff is the same, and we are in an economic war. But the difference now is instead of being like the punching bag, we're giving the punches, and it's not even about giving the punches. We're not even, all we're saying is, hey, we have got to equalize this thing out. You've been screwing us for so long, it's not even your fault because we've let you. Really, it's okay, here's a win. And for what? What goodwill did we get out of all that by turning our economy into a service-related economy only? What good? That farm bill is debated the way it is, first of all, because it's silly, because there should be politics. But that farm bill, that should fly through with flying colors. And it should actually go to help our farmers and agriculture. But instead, go look into it. We're not going to go into all that, but I'm just saying, we have one person in the executive branch that wakes up every day and understands that there's a lot of broken things, and he's trying to fix them. But I really do believe he is the only one doing it. I know there's people in Congress that want to do it, but they are in Congress. And they can only do so much, even within their own body, because of the way this silly branch is, and we've allowed it to happen. 3/4 of the states can fix it, if you know what I mean, can amend it, all right? But, it's just, I'll digress. Let's go talk about Minneapolis, huh? I know a lot of people are probably like, yeah, keep it. But this is it. Let's go back to this because this is important. So Minneapolis, they're back in the headlines. This time though, man, after an ICE operation, some silliness going on again. They're back in the headlines because an ICE operation at Augsburg University, it's in Minnesota, turned into a confrontation with school staff. Why? A college administrator and campus security tried to block federal agents from arresting a criminal illegal alien who is also a registered sex offender. Can't make it up. So all the students, oh no, we're not going to protect you. We're going to go protect the guy here illegally who's a sex offender. That makes sense. If those guys would care just an ounce for their students' protection as they do about these political hills, I mean, because they could care less about this illegal alien. To him, they don't. He's just such a number, a pawn. And I got to tell you something. Democrat, like that mentality, look, you have taken advantage of the Hispanic population, and I'll admit, for quite a bit, the Republican Party has slammed the door on that population for whatever reason, and I don't understand. That community is a wonderful community, wonderful, beautiful community. Love the Hispanic community. Very conservative for the most part, pro-family, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, pro-personal responsibility. It's a beautiful community. And now, you know, we're able to kind of open those doors a little bit, and when we talk about policy, there's no surprise that the numbers of Hispanic voters voting Republican, that trend is not an accident, and it might be micro here and there, but there is a collective trend of that, and there's a lot of forces competing that has brought us there, and we just touched on some of that. But the left takes that whole population. Same thing with the African American population. Very unfortunate. You know, beautiful population, beautiful community. Blessed when I was the mayor president to be able to be around a lot of folks from a whole bunch of backgrounds. Helps that I'm from South Louisiana. You know, that kind of helps. Natural diversity there. All of us. We know how to act for the most part. Where's my boy, Mayor Ritter? Act like you've been somewhere. Where's my T-shirt? But the university here, their reaction says everything about where these campuses have gone. And that's what we're going to talk about when we get break. When we get break, we're going to talk about that. When we get back, we'll talk about that. And you want to talk about a culture. You want to talk about a trend. You want to talk about a mindset. Where have our campuses gone? We'll talk about it. There's hope. There's more good out there. There is good out there. Keep your heads up. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble, rumble.com, and YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel, our Rumble channel. We want to see this segment broadcasted and supported by, C-Safe. Our friends over there at C-Safe. I beat you to it. All right. I love it. Tried to get Clay in here today. Not feeling well. Just going around. Q, did you make him not feel good?
Man, I texted with him on Monday to get everything scheduled, and I think I may have sent my bug through the phone.
Oh no!
It's the modern virus.
It's AI. Man, look, it's a good dude over there at C-Safe. Man, take care of you. Take care of you. All right, so let's go back to the Minnesota campuses. Yeah, good question. Question 8 on Rumble chat. Let me just go over the facts just to bring everybody back to the home camp. I had a few little tangents in there, Q. Boy, I brought us back home. I land the plane. So ICE arrested Jesus Saucedo Partilla, an illegal alien, registered sex offender, and convicted OWI, had on his record. Enrolled as a student at Augsburg University, that's in Minnesota. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, says an administrator and campus security attempted to protect all the women and children, right? No, of course not. Then we wouldn't be talking about it because that's what normal people would do. I say women and children, the public, you know what I mean. So DHS says, nah, campus officials attempted to block ICE agents even after being warned they were obstructing justice. That's important. That's important. ICE says they used minimal force and completed the arrest. They got him arrested. The university president told Minnesota Public Radio that the arrest was illegal, claimed ICE had no warrant, and said agents drew weapons. What? Now, he praised students. The university president had some words of encouragement to his students who interfered and said no one violated school rules. It's okay. Free the illegal alien. Sex offender. Makes sense. I mean, for Minnesota these days, I mean, it makes sense to that they would do that. It doesn't make sense to the rest of us, but it makes sense that I'm rattling off these outrageous facts that my dear audience has to hear. So sorry, but it's the truth. But this story does show, again, remember we talked about how has academia fallen? And we're kind of seeing that. How far has the academic left, specifically? The academic left. How far will they go to turn the college campuses into sanctuaries from federal law? There's a lot of emboldenment, a lot of cover to these students from their university president. I think those guys, I would imagine, well, we know they're appointed, but they probably have an oath, I would imagine, too. Maybe not. Maybe not. Like the oath thing is serious. It's not just I promise to do my best, you know. It's like, it's a thing. But well, it's a thing to most people. I don't know. Some of these guys, I don't think they care about the Constitution. So now that I say that, it's probably doesn't mean a dang thing to some people. But to most Americans, that means a lot. To the law, it means a lot. So Augsburg University I think they went far above disagreeing with the ICE agents. They didn't just issue a statement either, or protest, or write a letter. Like, we need to really understand the facts. They physically blocked ICE law enforcement agencies from conducting immigration operations. This is not that's not even burning tire fire so Governor Walz' wife could smell it. I think, like, really, this is like, it's a thing. It's a thing. Go look at the BLM stuff. But they physically blocked these guys from trying to remove a convicted sex offender who was in this country illegally. Please, Democrats that are listening or watching, does that really, there's no way that replicates your values. There's no way that you're okay with, yeah, I'm going to make a choice. I'm either going to let the ICE agents remove a convicted sex offender here illegally, or at minimum, not hurt them, or I'm going to choose to defend and go, way out there, to include conducting crimes, all right, obstruction, things like that, to protect the convicted sex offender, not accused, just saying. Who's here illegally? That is, man, jeez. But when you look at this, they did all that. A school administrator actually ordered campus security to trap ICE officers on campus grounds so a criminal could stay hidden inside a university bubble. That is what happened. And it's not compassion, by the way. That is not compassion. We're compassionate. We have no compassion for the illegal. That's not compassion. That is activism. Paid with public dime. Oh, hey, we're tolerant. Yeah, until you disagree, until we disagree. Tolerant. We don't understand. We're bigots, racists. That is ideological extremism, putting students and the public in danger, and they could care less. You would think that all right, I'm going to throw something out here, and this is a fact that I kind of left out. You would think that a small Christian university you would think that a small Christian university would put safety first. And you would think that a registered sex offender on campus would trigger, a real concern. Hey, even if you just disregard the illegal alien thing, let's pretend he's not an illegal alien. Let's just say he's that doesn't cause you any, maybe think of some things.
So does that mean that if he was trans and in New York, Letitia James would want him to use the women's room?
100%.
Wow. That is crazy.
And would ban you as a parent from coming to the mic at a school board member meeting and saying otherwise and griping. You can't even gripe about it to Letitia James.
Whoa.
And the school board member that lets you, done.
That's insane.
That's the party of democracy.
It's a party of something.
Understatement there. So instead of, the absurdity is, instead of the university worrying about the young people on their campus, they chose to literally fight the officers trying to remove the threat. Gave an order to trap them. Man, they got some problems. Is there a law school on that campus?
I hope not.
No joke. And if there's a law school, there's a law library that's open to the public. Yeah, I hope not for their sake. Because, they could kind of go look at, the supremacy clause. They can kind of go look at, basic legal 101, like preemption and federal law when it competes with, your silly stuff. And this is an area where the federal government is absolutely authorized. This is, when we say, as conservatives, the federal government, we believe the federal government's a government of limited powers. One, we didn't create that. The Constitution did, okay? Just trying to make it easy. Just trying to keep it clear. Follow the Constitution. I'm just saying. But this is one of those limited powers, literally in the Constitution. So just saying, the federal government's doing its job here. But these college campuses, this university president, instead of apologizing for interference, he goes out there and says that the arrests are illegal. He says that ICE had no warrant, that never mind, that DHS directly contradicted him and said their officers showed them a warrant to campus security. Never mind that a federal law is not optional based on your little political leanings. Instead of acknowledging all that, oh no, he chooses to praise the students who obstructed the arrest. Can't make this stuff up, guys. Hey, when we get back, we'll switch topics, but you know what we got? Well, we may switch topics. We got them phone lines open. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also on our YouTube channel, The Josh Guillory Show, rumble.com, the same thing, The Josh Guillory Show, and all of our socials. You can go to my X page, too, at Josh Guillory USA. Very original. I get it. Man, I tell you what, if we ever wanted to, like, break the record of, like, the World Trade Center or whatnot, they should call C-Safe, because they could build that thing so light, so strong, but I am not an engineer. When strength matters, this is what I know. When custom matters, when failure's not an option, like straight up, C-Safe, they deliver. C-Safe FRP products are engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, that's good, and outlast the competition in the harshest environments. So, from offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between, I can think of a few. Their products are American-made, by the way, manufactured right here in Acadiana by Americans. We like that. Check them out, csafe.com, S-E-A, just like the ocean. Let's talk, speaking of ocean, there is some things going on in the southern part, like some ocean, like right off of Venezuela. But we're going to go to the phone lines first. Let's go to, I know these two gentlemen. Who are we going to first?
Renee,
what you got, buddy?
Well, I got a comment on men going in women's bathroom.
Okay.
Now I got a palatable way you could do that. That would be armed guards in there, like maybe a middle-aged woman or something. But then, people complain about sex. An armed guard with tasers, and then allow that to be the only bathroom if they could have money to do that. And all the rest, no. This is not France. The radical feminist extremists want to complain men commit 80% or something of the violent crimes because they have testosterone, and you want to put a man or woman or a boy in a woman's bathroom? Sometimes they're not finished with transforming, or they might be mixed up and be like that little Nas and Chief we had as president and still attack the woman.
Thank you, Renee. Appreciate that, my friend. All right, let's go to Warren. Thanks for clarifying everything, Warren. I had you back. What's up?
Just make a third bathroom and put it on it, because you never know what you're going to get with an it. But you're talking about these rounding up these sex offenders. I agree with ICE rounding up those sex offenders. I think they just should have started in the Senate and Congress first. Start with those people. I mean, you look at Nancy Pelosi, all that money she's got. Her husband, I'm telling you, they need a sex workers' bill of rights, because anybody that can do a job that nasty needs to get paid right away. You're going to need some drugs and alcohol, even if you've never done none before. But these people are bad. We need to expose them. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Warren. Said only in a way that my boy can say it.
accurate.
Man, he punches him. He fights above his weight class and punches within 30 seconds. All right, so let's go back to the phone lines here. Caller, you are live on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Tony from the road.
Hey, Miss Tony, what's up? I couldn't see my caller ID. What you got? What wisdom, always.
Well, I just want Renee to know that most middle-aged women would not need to be armed if a man walks into the ladies' bathroom.
Renee, I'm with Miss Tony.
We will mop up.
I agree. Hey, I tell you what, there's one lady I wouldn't mess with, and that's the lady on the phone. She's nice, but she'll get you. Thanks, Miss Tony. We appreciate you. I'll go back to Renee. Yeah, Renee, you heard that? Miss Tony's right. I'm with her.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm not devaluing nobody. Anything that works, an observer, you need that if you're gonna do that. The bathrooms definitely are more inexpensive, more or less problems. Idea, have 3 bathrooms. Walmart has one for the family and something else. They have like 4 different types of bathrooms. But getting back to the immigrants, hey,
I kind of want to stay on the bathroom. Oh, go ahead, immigrant. Huh? Go ahead, you go with the immigrant.
Yeah, Walmart got family bathroom, male, female bathroom, and they got another one. I forgot what it is. But anyway, it's not. It should be an bathroom. But anyway, I stay at Walmart. That's my favorite shopping spot. Anyway, for the immigrants, if the least of their crime is illegally being over here, they get deported. Once again, if they did something else, they get locked up. And if they kill one of our people, well, they made it. They're never leaving America. I don't care if you put them in an X-File warehouse, put their ashes in the boxes for a benefactor, the relatives come back, pick it up.
All right. Okay. Well, he did say relatives could come pick it up. There's okay. All right. Hey, man comes to the problem with a recommended solution. Just saying. Talk show. People feel free to call in. Miss Tony, put him in his place. Renee, no, I'm kidding, Renee. All right. All good points, guys. Always make the show better than I could do it. So thank you. Appreciate you. I'm just here chugging along, having fun with you. But let's look at this, though. So the reporting covers that I'm looking at some pretty major escalation. So it's worth talking about over there in the U.S.-Venezuela tensions that we've been covering. That's with American fighter jets making their closest observed approach to Venezuelan airspace yet. So that move lands on top of, we cover this, months of rising pressure from President Trump's counter-drug operations. I'd say the pressure has been applied very well, okay, just saying, and Maduro's growing hostilities towards the United States. Very, we don't have enough time to break down some of the dynamics there. Maduro, he is in a kind of a tough spot, if you think about it, because he's got to show these drug lords that he's still in charge. It's kind of like Saddam. He's kind of in a place like Saddam. Saddam Hussein had to, like, what if Saddam Hussein would have come out and said, no, I don't have weapons of mass destruction. Iran would have been like, why did we end the Iraq-Iran war? Why? Because that was only 3 years earlier, from 91 to 88 to 91. Like, why? You know? So that's what I'm saying. Like, this guy, what's he going to... Trump's talking all this noise. These guys are dictators. They got to be the toughest guy in the room, otherwise it just doesn't work. So he's in a tough little predicament. And I give it Trump, look, Trump ain't backing down, okay? But we'll break it down. So let me tell you a few more facts. So specifically it was F-18s, okay? Two of them. They flew for about 30 minutes over international waters, okay? Not Venezuela, but international waters, north of Venezuela, though. The Pentagon called it just a routine training mission meant to demonstrate operational reach. Nothing to see here, just showing what we, just hanging out. It's international airspace. What's your problem? We're just hanging out, just showing you a little jet stream. That don't make sense. What are those things that come out of the planes, everybody?
Afterburners.
Yeah. No. What's the, chem lights.
Oh, the chemtrails.
Chemtrails. There you go. Chem lights. Back in my day. But the jet stayed there in international airspace. The Department of Defense/War, depending on who you ask, would not say whether they were armed. That is not unique. We get that. Now, this follows pretty much an uptick in U.S. military activity tied to strikes on drug smuggling vessels. Remember that? But I will tell you this. If we put this guy over that operation, I don't think we'd have a problem. Mr. Bobby! Let's go to Mr. Bobby. What you got, Mr. Bobby?
Well, you can't stop the demand of that fentanyl, so you have to eliminate the threat. You got to eliminate the supply.
Wait, man, I mean, it's a war. Look, hey, Mr. Bobby, where's for all these folks that are being Monday morning quarterbacks or whatever, play the tape. You act like there's a good choice. You act like the president has a wonderful choice here. What is his options? Let the drug boats come and continue to poison our children?
You ever notice that Madondo sort of looks like Saddam?
Hey, I don't know if you heard me earlier. I don't know if he looks like him.
No.
Kind of, maybe. Yeah, actually, he does.
Yeah,
you think so?
He's got a similar hat style.
Facial structure, the mustache, but all of Saddam's commanders all look like him. They all look alike. I think they were all related, probably second cousins. Copy out.
Second. You made him second cousin. You didn't even say third. Straight up second cousins. That was true, though. I was always told that he wanted all his people to look like him in case he had to, there was an assassination attempt. It was before all social media and stuff. I mean, think about it. These guys they went to extremes. I mean, like extremes. So Maduro, yeah, man, so that's a delicate thing here. But I appreciate the president understanding that we're at a war and that we want to bring the fight off our shores instead of letting the fight and the poison, literally poison, come to our shores. Why? Why is this hard? It's not. I know this audience gets it. This very learned and wonderful audience. All right, guys, stick around. Wellness Wednesday right out of this. All right, after this, we had such a great time. Be careful out there. May God bless you.